I'm Anna, and I'm an alcoholic. This is also my first online meeting. I didn't say it before because I'm now going to talk uh, to you all. But it's kind of wild. I feel a little nervous, but I have Ladybird with me. She's also sober. Um, and yeah, this is really neat. I I haven't qualified in a while. I don't think I've qualified since I started the steps. And I feel like, what was I talking about before? Like, what could I have possibly said that was of any help? Because I feel like I've completely relearned everything once I got into the actual boots on the ground kind of step work. But I guess I'll qualify a little. My sobriety date is July 10th, 2016. I have a sponsor, and she has a sponsor. We're working the steps. And my home group is Save Her a Seat in New York. Oh yeah, I'm joining from New York, in Brooklyn. And yeah, I think I'm very grateful to have found my way to AA because I don't know. The reason I came here was because I did not conceive of myself as someone who had very visible, permanent, serious consequences occur to her because of her drinking. And then those things started happening, and it was very shocking to me. I was like a pretty well-behaved, I call myself self-sheltered. Like, it wasn't like my parents were like, there's no dancing in this town. But I was just like, I'm going to go home after school. Like, I had my activities and then home. So like I had an older brother with disabilities. So like there was a lot of just assumption that like, as long as I looked fine, I was fine. And yeah, and I was very good at turning things inward and keeping things pretty small and guarded. And I guess I started drinking in high school, just at big house parties at my friend's house where like the mom would monitor our drinking to say like only 2 Smirnoff ices per person, which is, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like people are going to be alcoholics if they're destined to be one. I don't know. I mean, I'm here. So like if 2 Smirnoff ices a kid is, I don't know. I'm rambling. Smirnoff Ice is a beautiful beverage made for children. But I got to college, and drinking just always was like, I was a nervous kid. I was a shy kid. I felt kind of nerdy. And to me, alcohol was this instant entree into the world of cool kids who were special, and like it was a very grown-up thing. It was like a shortcut. Like I didn't really know myself, and I didn't really want to get to know myself because it seemed complicated and self-indulgent. Instead, I could just get drunk, and then it didn't matter because it was like autopilot. And my drinking was mostly pretty normal in college. And then I left school and started in a industry that is it's around alcohol a lot. And it was kind of a chicken or the egg thing where it was like, did I drink a lot because I was in this industry, or was I in the industry because you could drink a lot? Like I just started getting drunk on Tuesdays with a bunch of other people who are also getting drunk on Tuesdays. And that seemed normal. And it seemed like, well, this is what everyone does. On the subway, I would drink. It's not interesting. I would drink because I loved it. And sorry, I think my internet's being weird. Are we good? Can people hear me? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I was doing things that I couldn't imagine myself doing. Just like, it was like once a month I'd drink way too much, and it wasn't like throwing up because I was still like very conscious of like, as long as I keep it here, then it's fine. And there's alcoholism, but like in my cousins, and my mom's father was an alcoholic. And so I was like aware that it was like lurking in my bloodstream, but I was like, as long as I don't drink first thing in the morning, I'm fine. And I progressed in the career and got more success and like more alcohol. You get paid in drink tickets, and like to not use your drink tickets is throwing money away. And then like you got to max out your drink ticket by getting a beer and a shot, because otherwise you're paying yourself less. It just kind of spiraled, and I really liked not having to think about what to say. I'm a very socially anxious person. I feel very aware of myself in social situations, and I don't like that feeling because I don't like myself. So what alcohol did for me, it wasn't like it made me more fun or more interesting or funnier or more lovable. It just made me turn down the part of my brain that hated myself so much and was constantly criticizing myself for not being whatever enough. And I liked that. And to me, that was the easier way. I was like, also throughout all of this, I'm in therapy. I'm like doing yoga and meditation because I want to like balance myself. But at the same time, I'm like drinking 3 to 5 drinks every single day, which like to me, I was like, that's fine, right? And yeah, I guess like towards the end of my drinking career, I got on antidepressants, which I hear is pretty common for a lot of people, that like you add antidepressants to a light binge drinking career and then you get blackouts, which started happening to me. And there were consequences that hadn't happened before that started happening, and I was very scared of them. And it really shocked me. I just like, I don't know, I normally just go to women's meetings. So just like fill in the bad things happen when you get very drunk and you're out in the world going for a walk. It's actually not great to be an alcoholic. It's pretty unhealthy and uncomfortable. So I think I started having the idea that alcohol was going to be taken away from me by me. Like it was a privilege that I'd abused and it was going to be taken away. And my last 2 months of drinking were just getting tanked and not thinking about it because I knew that I had to stop. And I was used to being the drunkest person at most parties and like cracking open a beer in a rehearsal with other people who were like just trying to rehearse, drinking at work. I would drink before having to watch video of myself in different, like, I'm a performer, so I'd like have to go back and watch the tape. I was like, okay, I'll just have this whole bottle of white wine. And then I just drank a whole bottle of white wine and texted my ex and didn't watch the video. I still haven't seen that video. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. I have no idea. But yeah, I was in that very toxic relationship where we were just like not breaking up with each other, and I would yell at him and for like not leaving me alone, but like I was still engaging with it. It was a whole thing. And basically I was in my eyeballs right before my cousin's wedding. And it was finally visible. Like I went to an eye doctor to be like, can you clear this up? Alcoholic. But I was like, I was coughing a lot. And he was like, okay. Like, yeah, some like chill, low key sexual assault also in there. Very chill. And I had a panic attack and started crying. And my friend who was in the program for 10 years was like, I messaged her and was like, hey, I think I'm going to take 30 days off drinking. She was like, okay. And then my first night I had to perform sober, and I couldn't remember the last time I had been sober at night. And I just felt like I was climbing the walls. Like I felt like I was too high. Like everything was here and like everything was so happening. And I was walking home and I remember looking up at tree branches and being like, I've never seen a tree branch at night sober. This is unbelievable. And like anytime I have denial about whether or not I'm an alcoholic, I don't think regular drinkers ever are like marveling at a tree branch at night being like, what are you? So tried to do it on my own for like 11 minutes and was like, nope, went to an AA meeting, cried the whole time, never looked back. So that was last July. I'm so thankful that all of my relapse nightmares have been nightmares and not actual things. I'm very grateful to have my sobriety. A big part of my story in sobriety is denial, because my drinking wasn't bad enough. If you're new and you're listening to this, like, I get it. And there were so many times where I tried to reason with myself why I belonged in AA. Because I have self-esteem issues. I doubt myself a lot. And it's like, you think you have every disease when you read about it. And I'm just really glad that I measurable standard. And like, there's a lot of external factors. Like, basically the week I stopped drinking, I got an opportunity to submit for a job that I never thought that I'd be able to get, and then got it like right away. And that was kind of a sign like, hey buddy, maybe beer isn't for you. Like, if you stop drinking and your dreams come true, like, yeah, maybe don't ever have a gin and tonic ever again. Main differences are that I just don't have that kind of drama in my life anymore. I found my old iPhone from 2 years ago and plugged it in so I could delete it and kind of recycle it or something. And all of my text messages were like venting to people I didn't really know and didn't really care about in these long texts. And then like not responding to my actual friends being like, hey, how are you? It was just such an unbelievable first step kind of moment. Like, oh God, I'm not that person and I don't know who she is. Not that I'm perfect by any means, but like, I just don't have the option to be a piece of shit anymore because like I'm here for all of it. Just like, I remember my first few weeks feeling like every day was really, really long because I was absent for a third of the day every day. And now I feel it's been a year and a half. Last Wednesday was a year and a half. Hooray. And I just feel so much more relaxed and comfortable in my skin. I am healthier. I know where all my bruises come from. My cuts heal faster. I remember the first time I looked down and saw a bruise and knew where it came from. It was like I was a magician. It was like, how'd I do that? Just for me, I grew up Catholic, and so there was a lot of resistance to the religious parts of the program, and also just the idea of a program to begin with. I felt kind of wigged out by it. It was like, oh, just trust me and listen to me while I erase everything you ever knew and fill you up with new ideas. And I was like, what is this? Should I trust this? And I think that part of the reason why I'm still sober is that I allowed myself the freedom of, well, if this has worked for so many millions of people from every different background all over the world for the last like 80 years, then maybe there's a chance it could also work for me. And that's just such a gift that I gave myself. And I'm really glad, because like there are still parts of the program that I don't understand or that feel like that they're in tension with other parts of my life. Like the idea, just trying to figure out what's taking back my will and what's being proactive. Like what's handing over my will to my higher power and what's just sitting back and expecting things to get taken care of. And usually before I got sober, it would be like, if I don't understand something, then it's stupid and it's not for me and it's a trick. And now anytime something like that comes up in sobriety or in the program, a thing that I realized is like, this is hopefully a lifelong thing for me. Not everything has to make sense right now. And I think it's good that there are some things that are confusing and fascinating and like I haven't quite figured out yet, because a life is a long time and I want to be able to have things that are interesting and to figure out later on. Um, I I'm also very stuck on my fourth step. I've been on it for over a year, which I don't recommend because it feels bad. I tried to do my fifth step with my sponsor after a year of working on it and realized that I had done it completely wrong. I didn't write out my fourth column. I just like meditated on what it was and put in which category it was, which is not helpful or what I was supposed to do. So I was very upset about that, but I've gone back in and have been reworking on it. And it's scary. It's scary to like hand over control again. Like it's easy to like go to meetings and feel good and go to diners and like, yay, we're all sober. This is so great. But the step work to me, every time I've really felt scared or unsure or just daunted by step work and stuck with it, on the other side of that, what I got out of it was a more comfortable heart and like an easier time of being me, which is, I think, worth it, right? Like any growth comes from being uncomfortable. How much time do I have? You don't know. 5, 2, 3, 5. Oh my God. People are holding up hands. It's so fun. I'm having so much fun with my online friends. Yeah, I guess things that have helped me have been pause, like taking a second before I react, and prayer, weirdly, which has been really interesting because when I stopped being Catholic, I felt like I wasn't allowed to pray anymore because I couldn't explain it. But I found that praying made me feel better, and that I don't get points deducted for not understanding why I'm doing something, that I'm allowed to just do something that feels better. My higher power is kind of the sum of everything that's outside of my control / the universe / like what would me from tomorrow want me to do right now. But I don't really know what it is. And I found that it doesn't really matter, that I can just, it's another one of those things where it's like, I'll figure it out. Like, hopefully I'll live to be, an age that's a long time from now. And I want to have something to do along the way. And I have trouble getting to meetings and reaching out to sober people, but online or phone meetings and texting people has been really helpful. Also, getting a dog has been great because she's never seen me drunk, and it's really nice to have something in your life that is brand new. I also I wouldn't have been able to have a dog when I was still drinking, and I've wanted one so badly for so long that, yeah, it just, she makes me understand the concept of service and doing things like taking sober steps. And I'm now officially talking about my dog to strangers, so I'm going to stop. And I want to hear from you guys. And thank you all for listening.